If you've got a Nintendo Switch and you love fast-paced, action-packed games that don't waste your time, this list is for you. Today, we're counting down the top 10 best arcade games you need to be playing in 2026. Let's get into it. Ninja 5 is one of those games most people have never heard of. And honestly, that's a crime. You play as Joe Osugi, a ninja cop, yeah, you read that right, who's out to rescue hostages and take down a cult using both firearms and ninja skills. The gameplay mixes run-and-gun shooting with grappling hook movement, and that combination alone makes it feel completely different from anything else on this list. You're swinging across levels, slashing enemies midair, switching between your sword and weapons on the fly. It's tight, it's fast, and the controls feel incredible once they click. Each stage has hostages you need to keep alive, which adds real pressure to how you move and fight. Originally a Game Boy Advance title from 2003, it barely sold back then, but now it's on Switch, and it deserves every second of your time. Short game, massive fun. Huntdown drops you into a neon-soaked, crime-ridden city somewhere in a gritty, retro future, and your job is simple: hunt down gang bosses and collect the bounty. You pick from 3 bounty hunters, each with different weapons and playstyles, then blast your way through some of the most beautifully designed pixel art levels you'll see on Switch. The gameplay is a side-scrolling shooter where cover actually matters. You crouch behind cars, lean out, throw grenades, and swap weapons picked up from fallen enemies. Every gang has its own theme, its own look, and its own boss fight that genuinely challenges you to learn its patterns. The game has a darkly funny tone, with one-liners and cutscenes that feel like an 80s action movie parody done right. 2-player co-op makes it even better. It's polished, it's challenging, and every level feels handcrafted, with detail most games skip over entirely. Sonic Mania Plus is the Sonic game fans have been waiting decades for. Built by a team of passionate Sonic community developers, it plays like a love letter to the classic Genesis era. But it's not just nostalgia bait. The level design is genuinely inventive, remixing old zones with new ideas while introducing completely original stages that feel like they belong right alongside the originals. The physics feel exactly like they should, momentum-based, satisfying, and fast, without feeling out of control. You've got Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and in the Plus version, Mighty and Ray, each with unique abilities that change how you approach stages. There are branching paths everywhere, secrets tucked into every corner, and a soundtrack that absolutely slaps from start to finish. Whether you're a longtime fan or someone just curious about what classic Sonic actually feels like, this is the definitive answer. Shredder's Revenge is the beat-em-up TMNT game that brings back everything that made the arcade originals so fun, but with modern polish and a whole lot more content. You and up to 5 friends can jump in as your favorite Turtle, or April, Casey, or even Splinter, and brawl through waves of Foot Clan soldiers across a story that feels ripped straight from the original cartoon. The combat has real depth to it. You've got standard combos, special moves, dodges, air attacks, and a super move that builds up over time. Enemies have variety, bosses are memorable, and the game constantly throws new situations at you to keep things fresh. The pixel art is stunning. Every sprite is packed with personality and animation frames. Playing solo is great, but co-op with a full crew turns it into one of the best couch gaming experiences available on Switch.
Hey, I gotta focus!
Double Dragon Gaiden does something bold. It takes the classic brawler formula and builds a roguelite structure around it. You pick 2 fighters before each run, and you can tag between them mid-combat, which opens up a ton of strategy in how you approach each fight. The roster pulls from the full Double Dragon history, mixing familiar faces with new ones, each with their own moveset and feel. Between stages, you're spending coins at a hub to unlock new characters, upgrade abilities, and choose your next mission from a board that changes each run. Combat itself is punchy and satisfying. Enemies react to every hit, throws feel weighty, and the environmental interaction gives you tools to get creative. The pixel art style has a slightly modern, clean look that works really well. It's not the longest game per run, but the replayability from the roguelite layer keeps pulling you back. The Castlevania Advance Collection is 4 games in one package: Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, and Dracula X, and every single one of them holds up. These are the GBA-era Castlevania games, all built in the Metroidvania style, where you explore massive, interconnected castle maps, collect abilities, find equipment, and level up your character through combat. Each game has its own mechanics. Circle of the Moon has a card-based magic system, Aria of Sorrow lets you absorb enemy souls to gain their powers, Harmony of Dissonance leans into a dual castle structure. The exploration feels rewarding because every new ability opens paths you couldn't access before. Bosses are challenging and well-designed. The atmosphere is all dark, gothic architecture and creepy soundtracks that somehow still sound incredible. Wild Guns Reloaded is a gallery shooter set in a Wild West world where robots and technology have crashed into the frontier aesthetic in the best possible way. You stand at the bottom of the screen and move left and right while aiming a crosshair anywhere on the screen, dodging enemy fire and countering it with your own. It sounds simple, but the game layers on top of that. Constantly enemies flood the screen, bosses throw massive patterns at you, and every stage has environmental hazards to dodge alongside the bullets. The original was a Super Nintendo classic, and this reloaded version adds new characters, new stages, and 4-player co-op that turns the chaos up to an 11. The art style is gorgeous, the music is punchy, and there's a genuinely satisfying rhythm to clearing a screen full of enemies. Shadow of the Ninja Reborn is a remake of the 1990 NES Ninja action game, rebuilt completely from the ground up, with new visuals, reworked levels, and modern feel, while staying true to what made the original worth revisiting decades later. You play as either Hayate or Kaede, 2 ninjas on a mission to take down a dictator who's seized control of the future United States. The gameplay is tight, side-scrolling action. You've got a chain weapon for range, a sword for close combat, and ninja magic for crowd control. Levels move at a great pace, mixing platforming with combat that encourages you to stay aggressive. The remake adds new sections and expands the boss fights in ways that feel designed for players who've never touched the original. 2-player co-op is here too, and it genuinely changes the dynamic because you can split screen coverage and cover each other's blind spots. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Dragon Pearl of Destruction, delivers a focused, arcade-style beat-em-up experience that feels right at home on Switch. Released on April 28, 2026, the game follows He-Man and his allies as they journey across Eternia to recover the shattered Dragon Pearl and stop Skeletor's growing threat. Gameplay sticks to classic side-scrolling action, where you move through stages, fight groups of enemies, and unleash combos mixed with powerful special attacks. Each playable character, including He-Man, Teela, and Man-at-Arms, brings a distinct fighting style that adds variety without overcomplicating the core mechanics. The pacing stays tight, with boss encounters closing each level and encouraging strategic use of abilities. Local co-op enhances the experience, making it feel like a true arcade throwback.
Fight for Eternia with 4 playable heroes, classic arcade controls. It's powered up pixel perfection for your gaming console or personal computer. He-Man and the Masters of the
Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is the definitive way to play classic Street Fighter on Switch. 12 games in one package. From the original 1987 Street Fighter, all the way through Street Fighter III Third Strike, covering 30 years of one of the most important fighting game franchises ever made. The big highlights are Street Fighter II in its various versions, Street Fighter Alpha 2 and 3, and the Street Fighter 3 games, which still feel like some of the most mechanically deep fighting games ever created. For 4 of the titles, you get online multiplayer, which, for a collection this old, is impressive. There's also a museum packed with artwork, music, and timeline info that's genuinely worth diving into if you care about gaming history. Every game plays at its original speed and feel, no compromises. And that's the top 10 best arcade games on Nintendo Switch for 2026. Every game on this list is worth your time. Drop your favorite in the comments. Like and subscribe if you want more gaming content. See you in the next one.